Hey everyone, it's Bethany, and the camera is on my lap, so I have to try not to move too much or this stuff happens. So I talk with my hands a lot. It's just gonna happen. You're just gonna have to be okay with it. As of tomorrow, so today, nope, that's a lie. What is today? It's Wednesday, the 27th. Sure, we'll go with that. 4 weeks 4 weeks since I've had gastric sleeve surgery, and I feel like I'm doing really well. This week, I have tried some new food. I have tried chicken, just grilled chicken tenderloins. I went to Cracker Barrel with my family, and I was like, I'm going to live dangerously. I'm going to order the kids' chicken tender meal grilled with some green beans. It came with 3 grilled chicken tenders and a little old thing of green beans. And I was able to eat 1 chicken tender and maybe 5 green beans, and I was completely done. I was able to hold it down, didn't hurt my stomach. I cut it up into really, really small pieces. But at this point, I can start incorporating things like that as long as it's soft. And those chicken tenders were like really soft, so there wasn't any problem. And that turned into 3 separate meals for me, which is crazy. And the waitress, so this is really the first time I've eaten at a restaurant after surgery. And, I didn't order a drink. And then, I asked for a to-go box for my kids' meal. And I think this waitress was like, what the hell is wrong with this chick? But that's all right. But no, it's great. I've lost 62 pounds as of today, and I've lost 21 pounds. I don't know if I'm mathing right. Yep, 21 pounds since surgery. So 21 pounds in a month. Yep, that's pretty cool. I think what I struggle with the most is taking in enough protein, taking in enough water. It's really, really hard. I definitely think that I am suffering from some mild dehydration. I've had some symptoms of that. I've had some leg cramps, like more frequent leg cramps than I normally have. A little bit of constipation. It's really uncomfortable. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So, still working hard to hit that 64 ounces of water every day and at least 70 grams of protein. And I'm on the struggle bus with that. I have to say, I think I'm, knock on wood, but really fortunate not to have too many symptoms of, like, I haven't had any problems with gastric reflux. I haven't had problems with nausea. Everything I've eaten, I've been able to hold down. I had a couple issues with drinking Premier protein drinks too fast, which caused dumping syndrome, which sucks. But it wasn't too severe. One was severe enough I had to leave work, which was unfortunate, but there's not much you can do about it. It is what it is. But at least I know what I did. So just be careful when you're, easing back into your foods, that you're not drinking things too fast or eating too fast, because it's really easy to, I think, eat too fast, especially if that's what you kind of did before. I will tell you, like, some people can have surgery and not feel hungry, have to remind themselves to eat, and I really hope that I wasn't in that camp, and oh boy, I am not in that camp. I'm hungry every couple hours, and I'm hungry just like I was before. Like, I am hungry, and I want some food. So, The difference is it doesn't take much to fill me up. So I have to be really careful not to eat too fast because I could definitely overeat and that would be bad. So still a learning curve. And I think if you're considering this surgery, it's something you have to be prepared for because it is a steep learning curve to learn to eat again. And when you do eat, it's incredibly small amounts, which is just bizarre. But I'm only 4 weeks out. I'm a little VSG baby. We'll see. What I really want to talk about today is motivation and how important it is to have reminders for yourself on why you've chosen this journey. Only 4 weeks out, I've had days where I'm like, why did I do this to myself? Ugh, God. I can't go and snack and eat and, I went to the lake this weekend and playing cards. You have people snacking on peanut butter M&Ms, delicious, Cheez-Its, um, that kind of stuff. And that's totally fine. I know what I got myself into, and part of life I have to deal with that. But when you see those foods and it's right in front of your face, you have to have this reminder in your head, like, okay, you're not going to take one bite of that M&M. You're not going to take a bite of Cheez-It. You're not going to do that because this is why I put myself through this whole surgery and made a drastic lifestyle choice. And always keep that in the front of your mind. For me, I wrote down in a journal, kind of like a bucket list, but also like things I'd like to accomplish by losing weight. And I think my biggest motivation was I felt so old. I mean, in my early 30s, I'm walking around with a cane. I'm in my 30s because my knees are like that of a 70-year-old. Like, that's not cool. And when you have well-intentioned people who kind of enable you and then you just allow it to happen, and then you kind of reflect on that and you think, you feel embarrassed and almost ashamed a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's really hard for me to put this into words. When you get to be so overweight and it starts affecting your health and you can't walk well, people make assumptions that you can't do things. So they, for example, will try to drop you off closer to maybe a place you're going. They will offer to go do things for you. They offer to do this, that, and the other. In your mind, it starts to happen so often, or you're asking them to do it, either one. But when more and more people start to offer to do things like that, you start thinking, well, they must think I'm just not capable of doing it. But really, you're not in the back of my mind to know it's true. But I still feel insulted by it. It's a really weird feeling. I don't know. But it's embarrassing. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that in my 30s, and I should be perfectly capable of walking across a parking lot, doing things on my own, and not relying on somebody else to do it for me. And it's a really crappy feeling. And again, you get into your little death spiral where you're like, poor, poor, pitiful me, let's go get a cheeseburger. Poor, poor, pitiful me, ooh, Taco Bell, what's up? All that kind of crap. That's just the vicious cycle of it. And I think, last year, and I've mentioned this in other videos, it was just a really, really hard year, and I knew I had to pull myself out of it. And, my motivation is I want to actually lead a life worth living and not watch it go by. It's so short. I'm getting a little deep here, but I've experienced things in my life that nobody should ever have to go through, but I've learned a lot from it. I've learned a lot from it. A lot of a, while making this decision to do this, I've thought a lot about my son. He had a terminal illness, and he only got 6 months on earth. And what am I doing with myself? How am I honoring him by allowing myself to eat myself to death? And it took me a long time. I mean, he passed away in 2011. And for years, I was pretty numb. I could function, but I threw myself into work. I threw myself into other things and paid no attention to this. Like, no attention to me. And it's been dark. It's been sad. And I think last year's where it kind of bottomed out. And then I started to not feel so numb anymore, and didn't feel very good. And then I felt like I kind of just came through. It almost felt like coming through the other side. And I decided, no more. I can't do this anymore. I'm really grateful. Because if I hadn't had Chase, um, I don't think I ever would have made this decision, and I think he saved my life. So, yeah, that's how I'm going to look at it. So, anyway, I think it's important that you find your motivation and you find a way to keep it in the forefront of your mind. It's the only way you're going to be successful. But it has to be strong, it has to be powerful, and I think it has to have deep, deep meaning. Once you have that, it's going to be really hard to stop you. I'd love to hear what your motivations are, why you're doing this, what you're going to get out of it. I appreciate you listening to my story. Thank you for watching. I'm going to put out more videos. Again, shooting for once a week. And, if you would like to, any subjects you would like me to talk about, any questions that you have, I'm happy to try to answer those for you. Yeah. Until next time. Bye.